that could affect the price of your groceries, the future of farming, you name it. We're going to connect the dots and show you exactly how these new policies could ripple out and impact your daily life.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get the big picture of this really transformative week. Then, we'll draw a straight line from new border policies right to your wallet. After that, we'll jump over to the world stage to see how global politics can hit prices here at home. Then, we'll look at farming, AI, and your future. And finally, we'll pull it all together and talk about your bottom line.
Okay, so let's set the stage here. It's really important to think of these policies not as separate events, but as a chain reaction. Seriously, think of it like this. A decision made in Washington is like dropping a stone in a pond. The ripples spread out, and they can touch everything from your dinner table to your savings account. We're going to trace those ripples, step by step.
I mean, it all really comes down to this one simple question, right? How does some new rule decided on hundreds, maybe thousands of miles away,
Actually end up changing the price of your dinner? That's the connection. That's the story we're going to follow in this explainer, from the highest levels of policy all the way down to your plate.
First up, let's talk about the border. Brand new immigration policies have just been rolled out, and we're going to trace the impact directly from those enforcement actions to your household budget.
Let's start with a number, 2,500. That's how many new personnel are being sent to the southern border. But this is way more than just boots on the ground. It's part of a much bigger strategy that also includes new travel bans and a freeze on certain types of visas. The goal is to tighten security, but as we're about to see, that security comes with a cost.
And look, the goal here is ambitious. According to government models, these new security measures are projected to cut security breaches by up to 35%. That's a huge target. And it immediately makes you ask the question, what are the trade-offs to get there?
And here's where that ripple starts to hit your wallet. Get this, nearly 3/4 of all farm workers in the U.S. are immigrants, so a major crackdown could create a massive labor shortage. Agricultural economists are already warning that this could slash crop yields by as much as 15%. And you know what happens when supply goes down? Prices go up.
So what does that actually look like in dollars and cents? Well, it could mean your monthly grocery bill jumps by as much as $75. To put that into perspective, that's like adding a brand new streaming service to your monthly budget, except you're not getting new movies, you're just paying more for the same old food.
But the impact doesn't stop at the grocery store, not even close. It ripples out into healthcare, with potential staffing shortages in elder care where so many aides are foreign-born. It's hitting families, with wait times for visa petitions nearly doubling, and of course the whole thing is already getting tangled up in the legal system, with courts pressing pause on nearly a third of these new protocols already. Okay, so let's pivot now. We're going to zoom out from the border and take a look at the world stage, because a high-stakes foreign policy decision was made that could directly affect the price you pay for things you buy every day.
So this is a big deal. The administration has done something pretty unusual. They've sanctioned officials from the International Criminal Court. Now, this wasn't random. It's a direct response to the ICC investigating alleged war crimes by key U.S. allies. It is a bold diplomatic power move, and believe me, it is making waves in the international community. And you can see the gamble right here. On one hand, this move definitely strengthens the U.S.-Israel relationship, which is a $50 billion trade partnership. But on the other hand, it has really angered the European Union, and they're a trading partner worth a staggering $700 billion. It's a high-stakes bet that seems tied directly to the administration's political priorities.
So, what does all this diplomatic drama mean for you? Well, it could mean the next European car you look at, or a new phone, or even just some imported cheese and wine could cost you 2 to 4% more. Yep, that's the price of global politics showing up on local price tags.
All right, let's bring it back home now and look at two domestic policies that are, well, they're a study in contrasts. One is about helping out farmers, and the other is about using AI to streamline the government. Both have these huge promises, but both also come with some pretty significant red flags.
For thousands of American farmers who are right on the brink of bankruptcy, a lifeline just appeared. It's a new $12 billion relief package designed to keep them in business and keep our food supply stable. It is a massive investment, but as you're about to see, it comes with some serious strings attached.
And yeah, you guessed it, there's a catch. And it's a pretty big one that has a lot of environmental and public health advocates really concerned.
And here are those hidden costs.
See, this farm aid is tied to loosening environmental rules on things like pesticides and water runoff. That could mean more pollution in hundreds of thousands of miles of rivers. And according to health researchers, that could lead to a rise in respiratory problems in rural areas. It's that classic robbing Peter to pay Paul scenario, and it could end up adding over $2 billion to our national healthcare bill.
At the exact same time, there's this huge push to use AI in government to cut costs and slash red tape. On one side, you've got amazing upsides, billions in taxpayer savings, getting your tax refund in 8 days instead of 21. That's huge. But on the other side, consumer groups are raising a major red flag, warning that less oversight could lead to a flood of unsafe products on the market. It's efficiency versus safety. So the real question is, where should that line be drawn?
Okay, we have covered a lot. Immigration, international sanctions, farm aid, AI. So now let's boil it all down to the part that really matters. What does all this mean for your wallet, and what can you actually do about it?
So how do you navigate all of this? Well, financial experts seem to be pointing to a 3-step game plan. First, build up your defenses. That means having an emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Second, get proactive with your budget. Start planning now for those potential price hikes on food and energy. And finally, and this is so important, stay informed. Don't just react to the headlines. Really try to understand the policies that are shaping your financial future.
And look, it's really important to remember that none of this is set in stone. This is not the end of the story. The American system of checks and balances, well, it's actually designed for moments just like this. As this quote points out, these policies have to go through a rigorous evaluation. Courts are already pushing back. Congress is holding hearings. This story is still being written.
In the end, every single government policy creates ripples. The biggest takeaway here is to understand how those ripples could turn into waves that affect you personally. So the real question is, now that you know, are you prepared for them?